Hey GSM, what's going on? It's Michael and Brennan down here in the basement. We are back. We're back in the office. Welcome. This is going to be a little different for our virtual Wednesday.
Yep.
Usually we're doing a podcast. It's kind of official, or one of us is preaching on a camera or whatever. But this one is actually going to be less content and more so just information and updates about what's going to happen moving forward with GSM in 2021.
Yeah, but stay tuned because we got a lot of fun things planned. We're going to play a game at the end and all that kind of stuff. But there is going to be more information heavy on some
Fun information. Good information.
Because we're really excited about being back. We hope that you had a really good holiday season, Christmas and New Year's. We encourage you and invite you to be restful, right? To take some time to rest, to be away from your phone, to be present with people. So hopefully you're able to do those things and have just a really good holiday season. That's really what we hope for you and your family and your loved ones. Michael, what was the best part about your experience with Christmas or New Year or holiday season this year?
Yeah, there's a couple of different things. One, I really enjoy spending time with Ashley and Basil and Olive. I have a cat and a dog and a wife.
The wife. Just
I have a wife,
so that's great.
And then I have a cat and a dog.
Yeah.
She goes first, obviously.
Yeah.
So it was nice to spend time with them.
Good.
And then selfishly, I've been trying really hard for months now. To get a PlayStation 5. And I got one.
He got one.
I got one.
The story's incredible. If you see him, ask him about it. He'll tell you all about it. He was, you worked hard for it.
I did. I even brought other people in to try to make me a, bot to where it's hard to explain. Either way, I got one. If you ever want to come over to my house and play, yes, you should do that.
There you go.
What about you?
Perfect. Yeah. So for me, we had a really good Christmas. We spent some time with my family out of town, which was really awesome, and with her family, my wife Rachel's family as well. Yeah. And we actually got to spend some time. We took a little bit of a baby moon. If you didn't know, my wife and I are pregnant. Well, I mean, she's pregnant, I guess. I just get to encourage and cheer her on and support her in that way. Yeah. But she's pregnant, so we're super excited about that. But we took a little bit of a trip. So in between Christmas and New Year, we actually went to Charleston, South Carolina. Got a little bit warmer. A little bit south.
Like 60?
It was low 60s, so it still wasn't super warm, but it was warm enough for us.
Better than 20 and 30.
Better than here. Yep. So we saw Biltmore Estate on the way down in North Carolina. Got to be in South Carolina for just 3 or 4 days. Nice. And then back. So it was really good. We had a really good time there together. Nice. Just kind of relaxing.
You guys pack a lot in whenever you
We do. When we travel, when we do vacations, we're busy. So it was really good to sightsee and to see all the things, and so that was really good for us. So
nice.
We loved it. Yep,
that's awesome.
But what I'm super excited about now that 2021 is here is that we are coming back.
We are.
We're in the house, in person.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about what that's going to look like moving forward next week.
January 13th, we are back here in the youth basement. I'm so excited. We missed you guys so much. So basically, if you've been here before we shut down for the second time,
it's crazy.
It's been crazy. It's going to look pretty much exactly the same. So middle school, you're going to start down here in the youth basement. High school, you're going to be upstairs, starting with your small groups. We're going to transition back into the worship center, into the gym for worship time for about 15 minutes. Mika's going to kick us off. It's going to be awesome. The worship team there. And then, transition back to what we were before. So high school, then you'll come downstairs. Middle school, you go back upstairs with your small groups. We are asking, because we're doing this church-wide, since we're coming back in person, that's a privilege that we get to come back in person, that everybody gets to wear their mask. So please
I like how you said that you get to wear your mask.
Yeah.
It's like a privilege. You get to wear it because you get to be here, right? So that's the only thing we're really asking of you is to wear your mask. Just be respectful of what we're asking.
We've had good practice now. We've been doing it for a long time.
Exactly. It's just another accessory,
it's just a part of you.
It's just a part of you now. And so we're asking you to wear those, and we'll still have the seats kind of spread out 6 feet, like every other seat like we've been doing. If you've been here in the last, since COVID and you've been in person here, you'll know a little bit about what the schedule will look like. Again, if you're middle school, you will start down in the youth basement, so right at 7 o'clock, down in the youth basement. And if you're a high schooler, you'll start in your small group room upstairs. If you haven't had one, or if you're going to be new and show up, come upstairs. We'll find you a small group, hang out, and we'll make sure that you get to where you need to be. But the schedule itself is going to be very similar to what you've seen before. And I'm super excited about kind of what we're doing with at least the first series. We're going to try and merge a little bit of what we've been doing when we're virtual into like what we're doing in person.
Yeah.
So we've been doing this, and we actually asked, Michael took some time to ask some students, hey, like, what do you want to see? When we were virtual, when we were in person, what would you like to see, or what would be really good for you? And we heard this idea of like podcast style, like conversation style, back and forth a little bit, giving different insights and inputs. And so we're actually going to try that. And so our first series we're going to actually do teaching-wise is going to be kind of, well, in this setting.
Yeah.
So we're here on the stage.
What you see now is what you're going to get when you come in person.
Right, and so when you come in, you'll kind of have, it'll be a conversation. It'll be Michael and I, Kevin and I, Michael and a special guest and I, someone, we'll have a group up here that will kind of have a conversation about a topic. And we'll dive into in just a second what the series is going to be about. But we are actually also, we're recording everything. So please know, and one thing that we want to make sure that as we move forward here, we understand that the online, the virtual campus, the virtual opportunities cannot end, right?
No,
we know that that's not going to be over. And so for you, if you're not ready to come back yet, or you're not able to come back yet for one reason or another, please know that we want you to be a part of what we're doing here at GSM. We're asking that you just tune in. It'll be on the YouTube, on the Facebook pages, all that kind of stuff for you to watch and tune in and be a part of what we're doing, what we're talking about. I read this article the other day, and it was really interesting, and about like kind of what 2021 might look like, and what trends are going to stay, what trends are going to kind of change church and youth ministry and things like that. And one thing it said is this, and I want us to catch this. It says, full auditoriums do not guarantee a fulfilled mission. Full auditorium, so like full youth basement, right, in our context, a full youth basement does not actually guarantee a fulfilled mission. What we're trying to fulfill, the mission, doesn't happen here. Right? It happens outside of here. And so the more and more that we move away from making sure that we love being here. That's why we're so excited about being in person. Right? We love being with you guys. We love being back here in the house. But that's not necessarily what fulfills the mission. That's what happens outside of this place. So we're super excited to be back, but we know that online campus, that online platform has got to still be there, and it's just as, if not even more valuable than what we're doing here. Is making sure that we're reaching those outside of our realm of being here in the youth basement at church. So if we focus on filling a room only, we're going to miss the biggest opportunity we have to fulfill our mission. So that's what we're trying to do. We just want to make sure that we're doing that to the best. So we are going to be recording. Please make sure that if you're not able to be here with us, you're at least tuning in and kind of watching along, so that when you are able to come back, hopefully you are, then you can be right along with us where we've been. But first series, like, what are we diving into next week?
So our new series we're going to start with is going to be called Goals, which is kind of typical for a brand new year. You have new year, new me, or whatever. You have goals.
New year, new do. So
you do, man. It looks good.
Thanks.
But we're actually going to be starting the series, and it's called Goals. But really, the heart of it is spiritual disciplines. And if you think back, I think it was like in September or something like that. We did a series on spiritual disciplines where we had other speakers come in, and it was really good. But man, one of the best parts, and I should have mentioned this earlier, but one of the best parts about having a couple weeks off for Christmas and being away from everything is just having time to reflect and just sit on what's happening. And man, as your pastors, we just felt like, what's the best way? Man, 2020, obviously it was hard for everybody. It was a tough year. Some, it was fine, and you got a lot of awesome, like it brought new things into your life, and which is great. But man, in all reality, it's been really difficult. And I feel like, if I'm listening to the Spirit correctly, it feels like we're drifting away from Jesus because we're just not being able to be in person, right? And so we're trying to figure out what this looks like to do this virtually, you know what I mean? And as every church in America is. And now that we're coming back in person, I just thought, man, I want our students to just draw near to the Lord more than ever during this, to start off 2021. And so what we're going to do is spiritual disciplines. And this actually came from a verse in Ephesians 5:16. I'll read it to you guys. Actually, Ephesians 5:15 through 16, it says this: "Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. So therefore do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is." And so I was sitting there, I was like, man, I've been reading this book. It's called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. And it's by John Mark Comer. And he says in the book that what you give your attention to is the person that you become. And I was like, man. And then he gives this like statistic about how typically an average American picks up his or her phone about 2,000 times a day.
Isn't that crazy?
You just pick it up, like you just grab it, like you're just.
I wonder what's new. I wonder what's happened in the last 2 minutes, right?
Yeah. Like I have to give my attention to this, and I was like, man, like what we give our attention to is so important, and the days are evil. And what Paul is saying is like, we're on a time frame, like 24-hour day period. You have to sleep, you have to get your rest. And what are you giving your attention to? And we live in such a digital world, and some of it's good. We get to do this with you guys from a distance, and that's great. But man, can you just imagine if you just like gave, and I know we mentioned this as you guys went off for your break. We said, hey, stay away from your phone for a second. Just don't pick it up. Yep. And I said that even before I thought about this, which is kind of funny. But we just grab the Bible. Just read the scriptures. It's alive, it's active, it penetrates your soul, it's good for you. Mm-hmm. And that's the best way. The only way you can have a vibrant relationship with Jesus is if you give your attention to him. Yep. That's all he wants from you, right? The only thing that we provide is our sin, right? And he's covered that. That's great. But we have to give our attention to Jesus in order for us to have a relationship with him. And so that's what we want to start off this year with, right? And so that's what we want you guys to do is just, man, what does that look like? Spiritual disciplines. Yeah. And part of giving your attention to the Bible is to know what it says. And I had this thought the other day of like, man, you know, and this happens to me too. Like when I want to know something, I just Google it, right? That's that habit.
Yeah.
But there's a thing that I'm not saying everyone's like this, but honestly, like I didn't grow up in church either, so I'm still learning. And I have my major is in biblical studies, but biblical illiteracy. I feel like we say stuff on stage to you guys sometimes, and you just don't know what it is. That's not. I'm not saying that you're dumb. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that we're disappointed. I'm just saying like, man, we're in a society that we just don't look at our Bibles, and so that's what we're going to start off with. We want you to know what these words mean, so you can have a relationship with Jesus.
Yeah, and I think again, just the whole idea of, you know, when we come in this place, I want to move away from the idea that we're coming to this place to be fed all the time, right? And we're going to do that. Like that's what someone is up here teaching that's on stage. They've been fed and they're giving out of what they've been fed already, right? Or they're feeding. But when we come down to like setting goals and like you were talking about having this vibrant relationship with the Lord is when you can start to feed yourself, right? Yeah. When you start to be able to dive in your own and understand what the Bible's saying, what it means, like how we can take what it said way back then and how it still relates to today. And so we're going to look at, and again, the goal, this whole goals idea, right? It's said, 21 days or something like that to make a routine or something like that, a month. So we're taking this month, right, in January essentially, and saying, what if we just sat down and said, we're going to, whether you make New Year's resolutions or not, or you have words of the year or not, whatever you do or don't do, what if we sat down and said for this month, like for these few weeks, we're going to really dive into just a few, like of spiritual, like foundational ways to relate to the Lord, right? To understand what he's trying to say. And so, 1 week we're going to talk about that biblical literacy, right? We're going to talk about how should we study the Bible? Now, what does the Bible say? We may even go through. I've got this thing that I learned, and maybe you learned too. The ways to understand what the Bible is saying, right? Relating it to what today is saying, like crossing the principalizing bridge, all those kind of things, right? And how we can relate to it and how we can take it and put it into our context. Right. And so we're going to talk about biblical literacy next week. That's the first week. And then beyond that, we're going to have 2 other weeks where we're going to dive heavily, conversationally, back and forth and with someone else into another spiritual habit, spiritual discipline, spiritual foundation, right? That is so core to what we believe and why we do that. And I think when we talk about goals, why goals? It makes sense. Like you mentioned, everyone kind of starts the year with this goals series, and that's fine. That's good. But for us, even more so, like I think it's valuable. We've been, again, like you mentioned, we've been out of a crazy year. Right, where everything's been out of flux, out of normal, whatever. And what if we just took this time now, 2020? It's so funny that people were so excited about 2020 being gone.
The pandemic's gone all of a sudden.
Because 2021 is here, and like we're in the same like culture. We were 4 days ago. But the thing is, like, what if we took this time to say, okay, you're right, it's still the same culture and everything's going on around us, but what if we dove in and said, well, wait a second, let's make this then, let's focus in a little bit and make this different. Like, let's make this month just focusing in and figuring things out. And so, so here's a couple things that I took from what we were talking about here. This idea, where does it mention goals? Right? This idea of goals or setting goals or whatever in the Bible. And one place that I turned right away, I think of is Philippians, right? Philippians 3:13 and 14, where it says this. It says, "Brothers, I do not consider that I have made it my own, but one thing I do, I forget what lies behind, and I strain forward to what lies ahead. I press on toward what? Toward the goal.
Yep.
I press on toward the goal for the prize of the upward call of God in Christ Jesus.
Yep.
So even this idea of setting something ahead of us that we're trying to reach for, right? We're trying to gain, we're trying to get to this goal for the prize of the upward call of God in Christ Jesus. We forget what's behind, and not forgetting what happened in 2020, like not putting it totally behind and not disregarding it, but what's coming and what can we do to set ourselves up for that well. And even in the Old Testament, it talked about that in Proverbs, right? It talked about the heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps, right? We can plan and plan and plan and set goals, which is great. The Lord is, and when we allow the Lord to guide our steps, that's when growth and those things happen. And so, man, I think this series that we're going to walk into, and I'm really excited about next week because I know you're passionate about this, and it's really fun to watch that. And I am too, obviously, but it's fun to see kind of what you've been really hearing from the Lord and having Him say to maybe what our students need to hear.
Right.
But I'm really excited overall about this idea of just let's take some time. Goals. When we set goals, when we talk about goals, our foundational goal should be let's dive into this relationship that we have with Jesus. And these are 3 ways that we can do that these 3 weeks.
Yeah. I'm really excited, man. We've been sitting around praying about it, and we were just going to do a podcast about this. And we were like, you know what? This is actually so important. Let's just wait until we start off this year and just make it a whole series. Yeah. And so I think it's going to be really beneficial. If you could be here, please be here for that. Yeah. This is going to be beneficial for us. I mean, we're the pastors, right? But even we have difficult, I probably pick up my phone 2,000 times a day, and there's words in the scriptures where I'm like, I might have to Google that one. You know what I mean? Or I have to seek some wisdom because I don't know what that's saying. So
it's fun to learn along with you. It's fun to be able to teach off of what we're also learning, and so and that's what we're doing exactly each day. So that's fun. That's fun. Yeah. Hey, so again, that's next week. We hope to see you there. We're almost done kind of with this segment, but we want to do something kind of fun to end the segment and end this the programming tonight. As we speak, actually, it's really fun. As we speak, your leaders are actually meeting with us. So it's kind of interesting that we're doing this now, but our leaders are actually meeting with us, and we're having this leader meeting, a training, where we get to dive in and talk about how awesome the first semester was. We get to talk about what's coming up and forecasting the next semester. We get to eat together. Your leaders love you. They're super excited that they get another semester with you and that we're in person again. Yeah. And I've heard good things about people being just super pumped about being in person, leaders, getting to interact with you guys again in person. But we're going to bring up one of our leaders, one of our special guests, just a friend that we have around the office and around here. And we're going to play a game to end. Is that all right if we play a game to end this segment? So can we invite Connor up to the stage? Connor Oren. Come on in. Woo! This is where we need background people who can cheer and make it seem like Connor's a cool kid. Connor, how are you?
I'm so good.
How was your Christmas break?
It was great. It was a wonderful
good?
Break. Very relaxing, refreshing.
Good.
How was your break?
We already talked about that, but it was good.
You were sitting over there.
You were sitting over there. You heard us.
You were sitting over there the whole time.
Your beard looks good. Good as ever.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm trying to catch up.
Michael's getting close.
I haven't shaved in a long time. It's killing me.
Have you been washing it and putting oil in it and stuff?
Yeah, I'm doing the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Do you? This might sound gross. When you take a bite of something, does your mustache get caught in it sometimes?
Sometimes, if it's not if I haven't combed it out to the side correctly.
It's the most frustrating thing. I get so mad.
We've gotten completely off subject, so we're going to dive in now. We're going to dive in now to the game that we had planned. It's a game called New or Nah. New or Nah. And so the whole object here, and I'll read it here. I don't know why I have it here. You can't see it on the screen, but it's going to be fine. It says, decide whether the New Year's resolution on the screen. So on the screen, there'll be a New Year's resolution that someone created or could be a New Year's resolution. Okay. Decide whether you could keep it for an entire year. If so, you say yeah, or you say new, because new resolution, new or not, new or not. And if you could not or wouldn't even want to try to do this resolution, you say nah.
You got that?
Nah, man. Right? And so, because you couldn't keep it. So that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to ask, and we're going to go around and answer for us. We'd love for you to play along with us, either in your head or in your home or whatever you're doing, or on the comment section. Comment section. Comment new or nah for all these if you would try them. New Year's resolutions. It's January. Why not play a game about them and figure out New Year's resolutions? So here's the first one. We'll start with Connor. Connor. Could you go an entire year without eating a single piece of candy?
Ooh.
Candy.
I probably should.
That's not what it's asking.
I know that's not what I was asking.
Could you do it?
Could you do it?
Probably not. I was dog sitting for Kevin, and he had like a bag and a half of like Reese's Christmas trees.
How many were left when you came back?
I think maybe two.
Two.
Or three.
Dude, sorry, Kev.
I ate
Reese's
almost all of them.
Shout out to Kevin and Gipper for supplying Christmas trees for Connor.
Thank you for leaving.
Thank you for leaving your house. Michael, what do you think? Could you do this? Could you do a whole year without a single piece of candy?
Wouldn't want to do it.
Wouldn't want to.
No, not
I
a little bit.
am a snacker by nature, so like snack, you go to the. I mean, it's just easy. You open it up and candy's there. I don't think I can do it either.
I care more about snacks than like dinner. Honestly, I want to have good snacks in the house.
How does Ashley feel about that?
Shades.
I bet she does.
So frustrating.
Oh, great. All right. That's the first one. What could you do? Can you go the entire year without candy? I don't know. Comment below or talk about it amongst yourselves. All right. Here's a question. Connor, be smart about this because this person might be listening. Could you not hug either of your parents until December 31st? Could you go an entire year without hugging either of your parents? Star.
I'm trying to think about like if I even hug my parents in general.
Star, I'm so
I
sorry.
feel like I don't hug my
Sorry,
parents very often.
That confuses me.
I don't.
Maybe we should have a conversation after that. No,
I'm not a hugger.
Not a hugger.
I
Hey,
don't know what to say.
that's kind of I'm not a huge touchy person, but like I live away from my parents, so like every time we leave, obviously we hug and say goodbye. So I probably should say nah, just in case my parents are listening.
Right.
Sometimes
Probably.
I do. What about you? Could you
Definitely. You're a huggy person.
You're
touchy, dude.
only
that's
when
fair.
the other person doesn't want to be touched.
Yeah,
does he
I'm
touch
like,
you.
I'm like that way with you guys. 'Cause
Right.
You guys hate that.
Yeah.
And so.
But your mom wants a hug and you're not into it.
I just don't even. It doesn't even cross my mind. Like I don't even think about it. I like if she asked me for a hug, I wouldn't say no. But
I'll say this.
I
I'm
never
going to
think about
twist it a little bit.
Oh.
I live away from my mom. My mom's 3.5 hours away.
Yeah.
But I'm around my in-laws now,
Oh yeah.
and I hug my in-laws, so I couldn't do it. So, nah.
No,
No.
no would be that.
No,
Yep,
no.
okay, fair
I'm
enough.
going
All
Moss.
right, here's another one. This is more for you at home. This is an interesting one, and I think if we all committed to new in this one, our lives would be so much better.
So much better.
All right, here's the New Year's resolution. Could you be one of the first students to hand in your youth event registration form?
This should really be just a challenge for you guys.
That should literally be your New Year's resolution the entire year. All the events that we do, registration wise. What if you were the very first group to hand them in?
That'd be.
If you're a student,
If you're
you
a
haven't been
student,
out
Are
very
a
long.
student? Oh, easy. I'd do that for sure.
New. Try it at home. Could you not lie and pretend that you're sick so you can stay home from school? We're just gonna skip it. You shouldn't be doing that anyways.
Yeah.
Here's the next one. Could you only use 4 pairs of socks total for the entire year? 365, 4 pairs of socks. Could you do it?
It sounds like a lot more laundry, so no. Nah. That's the
He's
word.
gonna say nah. He's not gonna make that his New Year's resolution.
It sounds
Okay.
gross.
Michael, what do you think?
I think I could do it. Just for the pride part of it.
It's,
I was
it's
like,
not
I
a.
could do it.
It's not a could you do it. I could do it, but would
That's
you?
the question.
Yeah.
Could you do it?
Could you? That's. I could do that. Yeah, it's easy. I don't want to do it.
He does it already.
Did you get socks for Christmas? Please say yes.
Yeah.
Good deal.
I didn't. I think I could do it too. I really do. Like I think that I just do laundry every week. I mean, I already do laundry every week, so just
Yeah. Socks isn't really that big of a deal. It's real. If it was like
well.
underwear, boxers, or something like that.
Ask Rachel. She'll tell you differently. My socks tend to smell, and it's because of my shoes.
Did you lose them?
Socks?
Yeah.
No, but I put holes in them. Like no, but it's
same.
business.
Yep.
Unreal. All right. Cool.
Amen.
Okay, this is. If anyone says new to this one, I'm really concerned for
Yeah.
you and your salvation.
Salvation,
Could you conserve paper by only using 1 square of toilet paper per session? It says session.
So one wipe is
Per
not a
sit down.
session. It's the whole time. It's the whole time.
The whole
No.
yeah, the whole time. Could you use 1 square per session?
No.
This is
Nah.
the first time I've ever actually seen that question or statement or whatever. I can't do it.
Is it a real thing?
I don't know. I hope no one does that.
I'll give you a little bit of insight. I'll be a little transparent. I'm a water. You know, like you take a bunch and you wad it.
Oh yeah.
I don't
yeah.
like fold, or if
Yeah.
the answer to the question, you go folder or a crumpler or a rock, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. So I couldn't do it because you can't really wad up one piece.
I'm water too, man.
Yep.
I feel like
You wad, you fold.
I won.
Probably
all
most
waters
men
up here.
wad.
Yeah.
We're all waters up here
Yeah.
on the stage. Look at that. But you didn't need to know that about your youth pastors today. Here's the deal. Here's one. Could you exercise every single day for the next year? And my statement is, what is exercise? Because I walk up and down the hallway
Is
of
it
this
sweaty?
office a lot every
sweat,
day.
yeah.
You sweat walking through the office?
Well, no, I don't sweat, but I
Well,
walk
he
throughout the
also walks
office.
pretty fast, though.
That's
I'm a
true.
quick walk- yeah.
He's a fast walker.
What do you think?
Connor, you start out.
Don't even.
I've done it before.
No,
Oh
he
my
couldn't
gosh.
do it. Let's just give it that.
I
He tried
would,
working
yeah.
out with us and it didn't work. He gave it one day and
I
he was
gave it
done.
One day. It was too early. I couldn't get up that early.
Michael, could you do it every single day?
Pre back surgery, Mike did, and he hurt himself. Now he has back surgeries. So no.
Is pre-surgery Mike like prison Mike?
Yes.
Very similar.
Very similar. Yeah.
It's the office
During
reference.
the-
If you didn't know,
During the same time. Yeah.
Michael's never been. Well, he has been to prison.
I did my time.
But-
I've done my time. I worked at a prison for the
Worked at a
parents that are
prison.
listening.
Yeah.
I worked at a prison for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Moving on from that one. A couple more. Could you eat the exact same lunch every single day for the next year? You can pick whatever it is, but it's got to be the same every day of the
This
year.
is just lunch, so you
Just lunch. You got all the dinner and snack,
Yeah.
decisions you could have. Could you eat the same lunch every day?
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay, but what would you do?
What would you choose?
I don't know. I was just thinking about
I know
that.
you had an image in your head of what would be.
I had like a few different things. Maybe like I don't know. Maybe like a small pizza or like a salad. I don't know.
You could do pizza.
You would eat a small like a whole one, a small pizza for lunch. That's what you do for lunch.
I could do that for lunch.
For the whole year? Not saying they have to eat lunch every year or every day for the year.
That's true. I guess you could skip lunch.
You could skip it if you got sick of it. I would do it. Yes,
You would do it.
I love rice. So really,
Just rice or
what,
adding things
so
to
here's a
rice?
question for you guys.
That's what I was
No,
gonna
like just rice. So like, I love white rice, Spanish rice, chicken fried rice, whatever it is. I just love rice. It's my favorite food. So does it have to be the same type of rice? Either way, I'll still do it. I'll be honest.
I don't know. We're making this stuff up as we go, so no, it doesn't have to be the same.
Then yes,
Oh, we can use some different kinds of pizzas. That's easy.
Yeah, you could eat different
Yeah.
kind.
Easy money.
it's still greasy, man.
Yeah, I'd do it. I don't know. It wouldn't be rice, but maybe pizza. I don't know. All right, last one. This is the last one. There's
Yeah,
more,
yeah.
but we'll continue on and do some more later on. So here's a question for you at home. Could you? Oh my gosh, that's a lot of
This
reading.
is hard.
Could you give up Netflix, Prime Video, and so Netflix, Prime Video, and
All three.
Disney Plus for the next year and focus on reading?
Ooh.
So not only just give them up, but you'd actually all the time that you'd spend doing those, you'd be reading instead.
I'm actually going to be talking about this next. That's actually pretty funny.
There you go. Segue.
Anyways,
Could you do it? Could you give up all three and read instead?
I think so. I like reading, and I don't really even watch that much TV. I'll stream like Hulu as I fall asleep, which really isn't very healthy, but I do it.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I don't think that'd be that hard.
Okay.
Great.
I don't know, man. If it's all three at the same time, like I don't have cable. Like I like watching TV. Oh, I am going to read more. You should read more. Just we're we talk about that.
Read more.
But I'm not going to try to act like I'm somebody I'm not.
I couldn't do it.
I can.
No, I wouldn't be able to do it either. So good for you.
WandaVision series is coming out, dude. Marvel is coming out in like 13 days on Disney Plus. Why would I give that up?
Is that the one with like C-3PO in it?
That's
He looks like C-3PO.
I'm so frustrated with you right now.
All right, cool. Hey, so this has been awesome. It's been fun to hang out with you guys. We'll play a little bit more of that game maybe next time when we're here in person. So next week, we're in person.
January 13th, 7
Be
o'clock.
here in
Be
the
here.
audience, so we're not just talking to a screen. We love talking to the screen. We love that you could tune in. Thank you so much for being a part of this. We love you.
We love
We're
you.
super excited to be
See
with
you. Guys.
you.
See you soon.
See ya.